The only question they ask you is it made for kids or not for kids? No, it's not fucking made for kids. Last thing I want to worry about is whether I can fucking say fuck. But we're gonna clean in the RV, trying to fucking figure out how I can rearrange this so I can actually move around in here with having like thousands of CDs. So, and I'm going to put music on, so they'll turn off my feed after a while, the stream, because it's so retarded. I paid for that CD. I'm sitting in my RV, streaming, talking to people. You know, I'm going to kind of just grab the box of CDs and talk about it. And it leads to talking about the music, you know, and just goes off in any direction at any time. And I'm going to have music in the background, and then they put a copyright claim on you or shut it down. It's just fucking asinine. It's asinine. It's not right. But before that, we'll play a tune. Our conversation, really windy, was short and sweet. It nearly swept me off of my feet, and I'm back in the rain. Oh, and you are on dry land. You made it there somehow. You're a big girl now. See, that's a good chord that you use a lot. You know, that you'll see if you get the little books with the chords. You got a lot of the you'll see the D/F sharp. So your D is here, you know, that famous D, one of the first chords you lose. But the F sharp, second fret, you know, the top string, the E string. So you leave the bottom E, the high E open, and then you just put your, that gets used a lot. There's a lot of tunes where you're in G, and you walk down to F, you know. But then in this tune, I think I got written down here, D7th F sharp. So normally you would do this for the D, and that's, you're on the third fret with the B string, the second fret with the G string, with the F sharp on the second string on the big E, the low E. But the D7th, you're gonna, because the D7th is that, so now you're gonna go the first fret on the B string, which I'm not sure I like. I think I like the regular D. Bird on the horizon, sitting on a fence. He's singing a song for me at his own expense, and I am just like that bird. Oh, singing just for you. I hope that you can hear me singing through these tears. Huh. Time is a jet plane goes too fast. Oh, but what a shame if all we've shared can't last. And I can change, I swear. Oh, see what you can do. I can make it through. You can make it too. Love is so simple, to quote a phrase. You've known it all the time. I'm learning it these days. Oh, and I know where I can find you. Oh, in somebody's room. It's a price I have to pay. You're a big girl you're a big girl all the way. A change in the weather is known to be extreme. What's the sense of changing horses in midstream? I'm going out of my mind. Oh, with a pain that stops and starts, like a corkscrew to my heart. Ever since we've been apart. That's a fun one to have. That the harp goes, you know, that's one of those nice meditative tunes. And that's, of course, You're a Big Girl Now by Minnesota native Bob Zimmerman. Some of us can call him Zimmy. But I like to call him Jimmy. Why, I don't know. So it's B minor is the first chord, but I think the harp will be G. That's what I'm going to pick. And one thing you kind of learn over time, you know, like B minor comes in the key of G a lot. Whereas if you're in, say, F, you're not probably going to have a B minor. But you're not going to be in F a lot. You know, but like a C goes with F and B flat, you know, and G. G's a tricky one because G can be with, you can have like your C, G, F, but also G, A, D, you know, and A, E, B go together a lot. Just things you kind of figure out over time. Great. I can't read that. Let me take a closer look. Great aim, Rome, Czechia. Great. Aim, Rome, Czechia, Europe. Not sure what any of that. I understand Europe and great. Aim, I'm assuming it's not the aim we use in English. But anyway, welcome. Thank you for being here. Just playing some tunes, and I'm going to kind of talk about my CDs as I move them around in my RV. And I'm crunched for room. I'm trying to rearrange my life. I moved out of a house in March, and I just got too much stuff. And I still buy CDs and like them and will continue to buy them. And the thing that sucks is they are heavy, and when you have a lot, and they take up room. So I was just looking at a trailer. They got a bunch of trailers. I'm in an RV park, and I have a nice. I'm in the storage area where it's kind of a big open, not a huge open field, about the size of a football field, an American football field. Whereas there's all rows, streets through here with RVs and the trailers, permanent trailers. But I'm on the side here where I am. There's a couple, like 6 RVs, and on the other side, people put their boats and trailers. So I was looking at some trailers. They're expensive, but that's what I need, and I could fit all my stuff. Like I get a storage container, that I'm paying monthly for. So I need to kill that cost and get a trailer, and I think I can fit all my stuff in a reasonably sized trailer. But I don't. I enjoy the harmonica, but I don't like rehearse harmonica stuff. If you can tell. But I mean, once I play a song long enough, I definitely get figure out. Took me a while just to do like Tom Petty. I play. Oh, I can't do it. Well, it's a different key. But like simple tunes like Mary Jane's Last Dance, where it's just one little harmonica phrase. It's tough. I can't do it after just having played another song. You know what I mean? You can't. It's hard to find a melody. But anyway, I'm just saying. There's certain songs like Mary Jane's Last Dance and You Don't Know How It Feels where you're kind of just doing a one little phrase. It's the same all the time. And then there's other songs where it's more empty and open. Like when I do Tangled Up in Blue, I don't really have anything that I've really figured out that I kind of do the same thing every time, but I definitely don't have it I remember seeing Dylan. I've seen him a lot, but since the last time I saw him, I didn't like the theater he played in. He played in this beautiful theater in Fort Lauderdale, like really nice, But I don't like seeing shows, and I'm going to see rock and roll. I don't like. This is one of those ones where they have curtains on the and a beautiful theater, fairly new. But I don't want to see rock and roll shows there where you got to be quiet, and I don't believe in that. You're playing rock and roll, man. People should be able to fucking have beers in their hands and talking, and as annoying as that can get, that's what a rock and roll show is, man. Not like this silence. Everybody sits down the whole time. No, if you take a picture, like some douchebag will be behind you if you're filming a song and like fuck you. Fucking the whole fucking point of rock and roll is freedom. So people who that I don't like that. You're gonna play, I fuck that. I don't give a shit if it's Bob Dylan or not. You're a fucking rock and roll artist, dude. Don't go fucking playing these stuffy fucking theaters. I don't give a shit if you're 81, won a Nobel Peace Prize. Who gives a fuck about the Nobel Peace Prize? Bunch of fucking elitist douchebags giving themselves fucking awards. Who gives a fuck? If you buy into that, or you're impressed by an introduction that's fucking Nobel Peace Prize winner, who gives a shit? And it kind of made me mad, like this was probably, I mean, going back a ways now, probably 2018 at the earliest, the last time I saw Dylan. I'd probably seen him 10, 15 times, right in that range. I remember seeing him in a high school auditorium or a lunchroom or a gym in fucking Connecticut back in the mid 90s, That was awesome. I think that was the show Elvis Costello opened up for him solo. The only time I've seen Elvis. And he played If Dogs Run Free. Now, if you're a Bob Dylan fan and you know the song If Dogs Run Free, it's a pretty obscure tune. It's a weird tune. It's on, is it on New Morning? I think it's on New Morning. If dogs run free, why don't we across the open plain? Great tune. But I believe in that pretty strongly. Rock and roll shows should be played in a rock and roll venue, in a rock and roll attitude. And Bob Dylan is still rock and roll, whether he's 80, fucking whatever, who gives a shit? Having this sterile fucking museum-like atmosphere is, I'm out, and I'm not going to pay $100 to be told that I have to be quiet, or if I go to the bathroom, they pull a curtain at the end of the aisle and you got to wait till the song's over before you can go back to your seat so you don't disturb some fucking douchebag, fucking rich asshole sitting there in fucking loafers, fucking going, shh. Feel pretty strongly about that. I'm done with the only guy I'll probably pay a lot of money for still, and I won't pay a lot, but I mean, I'll pay the $125 or something, is probably Neil Young. But I'm not sure because I'm completely opposite of him politically. And he's one guy I've let it slide so far, but I don't know if I'll give him my money again. Like, I don't know if you've seen that new Springsteen song he put out yesterday. What a douchebag. Now my hat goes off, or not my hat goes off, but I got no problem, and I do kind of think it's good that he's not just sitting on the sidelines. He's expressing his opinion, putting himself out there, but he's wrong. And by name checking that guy who got shot in Minnesota who deserved it, and also the woman who deserved it. Again, and I said this last night during my stream, deserve may be the wrong word, but they put themselves in a position where that could happen, and it was stupid. And but Springsteen name checked them as to canonize them forever. That's a Bruce Springsteen song, and that's wrong. That's just wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's not opinion. That Alex Preddy guy was a fucking, and I don't even like saying his name right there, but he was a agitator, and he was wrong, and he was You know, you can express your opinion. I'm all for that, man. Stand there, blow your fucking whistle, hold your sign, but to be spitting on people, damaging the property, if there had been cooperation, there wouldn't have been any of that shit. And these assholes, Bruce Springsteen doesn't suffer the consequences of any of these things he says he's for. Neil Young, you know, the view from your mansion on the hill, you can feel pretty fucking proud and brave about what you say you're for. Horse shit. I'm somebody who lives with that shit. I have a job where I'm like one of the few people who speaks English, man. And it ain't right. This is the United States of America. And whether you say not, we're all immigrants, I agree. But most of the Europeans came in legally. And we're happy to become Americans. These people who come here don't make any effort to assimilate. They fucking look down on us. And don't tell me the Mexicans do not. They do not respect us. I work with them. They do not respect us, and they don't care. They come here, wave their Mexican flags, think they're so fucking great. Well, why'd you lose Texas? Why'd you leave your country? You know? And I got no problem. I talk with them. I'm friendly with them. I'm not hanging out with them necessarily, but anybody, any color, any race. I used to Uber. I've had deep conversations with people of all race. I used to Uber in Tampa for 3 years. I went to places that 1 out of 10 white people would even dare to go, and I went there every time. You know? And I mean it. If you want to come, I'll take you by the hand and bring you where I went, and you'll start shitting your fucking pants. I mean, some of the scariest places a white person could go, and that's just the reality of fucking the world. And I remember one time I went and picked up this guy, 2 a.m. at the worst part of Tampa. It was a Wawa, but it's like right in the... You're just not going to want to go there, no matter what color you are, if you're a law-abiding, fucking care about your family person. And I saw the name. It clearly wasn't fucking, you know... It was clear what I was going to pick up, you know, what race and all that. But I didn't care. I picked up everybody. And it ended up, this guy got in my car. He had a brand new LA Dodger, you know, the way the black people, that their style, clothing style. The brand new, you know, flat rimmed LA Dodgers hat. And I think he had like a Red Sox shirt on or something, or jacket. But anyway, the Dodgers had just lost in the playoffs. And I'm just like, hey, man, too bad about the Dodgers, huh? And he's like, oh, I don't give a shit. I just like the... So anyway, I'm listening to Ron Wood, you know, the guy who plays guitar in the Rolling Stones. And I was listening to one of his solo albums from the 70s. Not too many people know or care about that. And, you know, we just got to talking. And he's like, yeah, I'm a rapper. You know, I'm a musician too. And he's like, do you want me to rap to this song? So I think it was... I forget what song. I could look at the album. But anyway, Ron Wood, solo album. I think I've got my own album to do. And he starts rapping to it, and I'm just like, cool. And by the end of the trip, it was totally like, hey, man, have a great night. You too, buddy. You know? I'm totally, you know, because I'm going to say things. I have no problem saying that I think black culture is the problem for the black race. No problem saying that. Doesn't mean I don't like black people. You know, I find that oftentimes they're totally cool, but they do have a problem. Like if another black person, say you're talking to, as a white guy, talking to one black person, everything's going great. Another black person comes over, it's a blatant change in their attitude because they can't be seen to be getting along with a white person. And it's just ridiculous. You know? It's like white people aren't like that. We don't feel any need to support or back up or other white people. You know, we're not like that at all. So that us against them thing in the black culture is just really hurting them. And it seems like a lot of black men kind of get it. And, you know, like there's a lot of YouTube channels where the guys are just like, I'm sick of this shit too, you know. But I don't know. I don't know how I got. I think. Oh yeah, we were talking about Bruce Springsteen's song about Minneapolis. I get a kick out of that. Minneapolis has been the flashpoint for all this shit, man. That cracks me up. What do you got there, buddy? I got cats. What's up, bud? Occasionally they will cross in front of the camera for you. You okay, sweetie? See, the key when you're doing playing songs though is, you get to a point where you can kind of move around, but yeah, it's going from one chord to the other, especially when you have an odd chord, where you're doing something different with the bass, where you figure out you can do certain things, to set up the next chord. After the first time you run it through, you may do each chord the way you would play it if you were just like, show me a G. But then you realize, like a G, you might normally do it like that, And if I'm not gonna go through each thing, but sometimes you play it like that because you want to have your, like in That's Life, you do a C major seventh, which I would normally probably do with the middle finger and the ring finger, but you go into a B seventh. So and that's the first time I've done that, because I've always done the C major seventh with the middle finger and the ring finger. But then because I'm sliding into that, so you got to kind of think about it a little bit, you just to remember and remind yourself. No, and you don't have to do it. It's not the biggest move to just do it normally and then go into your B seventh. That's life. Though I can't deny it. I thought of quitting once, but my heart just wouldn't. And I know well, I'll be back. I'm still learning that tune. As far as having the chords memorized, there's not a ton to it. It's you know, you get to a certain point where you can learn, you kind of can remember and learn songs faster. Obviously, we'll have it down soon. I've always loved that one though. That's life. I've been a puppet, pirate, pauper, poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down, over and out. And I know one thing. Each time I find myself flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. As simple as it seems, some people get their kicks stepping on dreams, but I know. See, right there, I got to get that next chord in my memory bank. But see, that's what you learn. I've been learning that song recently. I wrote it down years ago, but I've just started playing it regularly. And so now I know that that's the chord. That's that chord that I really have to concentrate on. No, I don't have it here. This is my, what do you call, clipboard with all the songs. The ones I'm working on are out. This is the one I'm working on right now, though. I wrote it down. I played it at a few gigs, and I knew I wasn't ready, but now I think I'm ready. That old white-haired judge in Dallas. Wait, that ain't right. That old white-haired judge in Dallas didn't pay my story no mind. They're breaking me down to Huntsville. I'm bringing in a load of time. They caught me on a caper that I planned for days and proved everything I'd done. I'm on my way to Huntsville, but I'm looking for a chance to run. My hands don't fit no chopping pole, and cotton never was my bag. The man better keep both eyes on me, or they're gonna be losing old hag. Merle Haggard. Hey, ain't so far to Mexico that I can't find my way. They're taking me down to Huntsville, but I'm not gonna stay. They got me chain and leg irons. I guess they got a good excuse. They know I'm gonna run the first chance I get, 'cause they're never gonna cut me loose. I really don't care if they shoot me down. I'll never be free again. I've got 2 long life terms to do, both running on end to end. But it ain't so far to Mexico that I can't find my way. They're taking me down to Huntsville, but I'm not gonna stay. Recommend, check that one out, Huntsville by Merle Haggard. It's on one of his 70s albums. I went through a little thing. I've always loved Merle. In fact, that's what it says right there on that sticker. But I went through and I pretty much bought just about all his albums. Like, I think it was when I moved here. So like just about 5 months ago. And I mean, there's a lot of albums. Merle Haggard is the greatest country artist ever, hands down. Him and Hank Williams. They have a thing, and it's kind of irrelevant, but like the Academy, the Country Music Academy or whatever. And I've never watched it or followed it and don't really give a shit. But at the same time, it kind of is something you'll find out about if you just are into music. And every year, they vote on the greatest country artist ever. And Hank Williams was always won it every year. You know, every year it was pretty much indisputable. Oh! Oh. That was brutal. I got cats, and I set up this little rack for the cats to get up to where like the TV is. In fact, I'll show you. Right up there. And if you can see, there used to be a rack, a little thing coming out. It was actually one of those things you'd like put hold a hose on the side of your house. And just now, a couple seconds ago, this big fella, he's the oldest, Billy White Shoes, jumped up there and it came down and he did like a swung around and fell. Everybody's okay. But it ripped out of there. I used to have a board on it, but the board kept falling off. You know, so they could get up there from that chair. They stand on that chair. Then I had put a board that extended out so they could just get up there easily. But they kept knocking the board out, so I still had the little bracket up there. And they would stand on that, and being cats, they could do that pretty well. But I guess it was loose, and he just pulled it off. And it was funny because he did like his two front paws were on it, and he did a swing around and fell. All these cats are related. They got the same mom. That's how I ended up with them. Where I used to live, I used to take care of the neighborhood cat, and every time she'd get pregnant, because I never had enough money to get her fixed, and I'd let her have her babies in my house, and then I got rid of a lot of them. And I tell this story like every day because I live in an RV, and the cats are always present, so they come up. But I couldn't get rid of all of them, so I ended up with 5. And I love them. But I just like to make clear I wouldn't have gone out and gotten 5, like kept, you know what I mean? But I have no problem having 5. So that's just how, and I got 2 black, 2 orange, and one I think they call it tortoise shell. So I assume maybe there's 3 different fathers amongst those cats. Although the tortoise shell, I guess, could have maybe been the same father as these guys, and she just came out with the mother's colors because the mother was a tortoise shell. But she's a long hair, Lola, who I have, and the mother was Lila, and she was a short hair tortoise shell. And I didn't know that tortoise shell term till I kind of looked it up, I guess, on Google. And that's Ziggy. And Ziggy here, he was in the last litter that she had while I had her. And his brother is Donald, and he's orange like this guy, but without the white spots. He's totally orange. But I thought he was a girl at first, so I called her, and it was right during the election, so I called him Kamala. But I didn't really like calling him that because I despise that woman, and anybody who likes her is a fucking complete douchebag. She's a disgrace to our country. But so I was calling her Lala. So the mother was Lila. Her older sister was Lola, and she was Lila. There's Lola right there. Beautiful, huh? She is. And but then I had to figure out that he was a boy. Tough to tell with the black cats, you know. You can't, especially when they're little. It's like he just looked like a girl. But he's totally cool. But I named him Zigaboo after Zigaboo Modalisti, the drummer for the Meters, and the New Barbarians, which was Keith Richards and Ron Wood's group in the late 70s. Good stuff. The New Barbarians. think you can get some live and a live album of theirs. Good stuff. Perfect, really good, ragged rock and roll, you know? If you like really polished music, you couldn't handle it. But to me, it's perfect. It's exactly what rock and roll should be. Kind of feels like it could fall apart at any time, you know, but the more you listen to it, the more you get it, and that they're really in a tight groove. And it's really how it should be. That's why Keith Richards is king, you know. And the bassist was Stanley Clark, who, if you go and see him now, he's like trans. He like, I don't know if he's doing any hormones or anything, but he dresses like a woman and still plays. He plays like the bass, but kind of like a guitar bass or something. I'm not sure what the deal is with him. Been around for a long time, super talented. A little weird. He actually jammed with Phil Lesh on one of those things too. You can see. I don't know if he did it when they did the little clubhouse jams, but he's good. So there's Zigaboo, and that's Billy White Shoes. See, now Billy White Shoes here, he has two brothers that are all, one had some white spots like him, not exactly, and one was all orange. And then there was another orange one who I thought they were four boys, but it turned out that one of them was a girl. And I called her MAGA. Because, yep, I'm 100% MAGA, so if that upsets you, there's the door. But I drove up to Massachusetts. I'm in Florida, and I drove up to Massachusetts, where I'm from, with 4 cats and my other cat that I did adopt at the ASPCA the day I moved into my house. And so I had 5 cats in my car, in my Xterra. And you know how, for whatever reason, the cats want to go to your feet, you know, like right where the gas pedal is. And I just was battling them, you know, just like, come on, out. By the time I hit Connecticut, I just gave up. So I had all 5 cats were under my feet. And I drive with the cruise control most of the time anyways, but I was just, it's just funny the way they do that, you know? They got the whole car, you know, it's an SUV and they could go anywhere, but they're like, nope, we want to go right where the gas pedal is. So now these are all CDs. Look at that. She's got like the light colored, it looks like eyebrows, like Andy Rooney from 60 Minutes. If you're old enough to understand that, then and there's the problem. There's Donald. And here is, I called her Angie. That's Lola's sister. They were from the same, but her and Donald are always going at it. Donald, stop it. Leave her alone. Come on, bud. Hey. The problem is Donald here and his brother Ziggy have not gotten fixed yet. They're about a year and a half. I got to get on that. But the weirder part is that Ziggy, the black cat, him and his sister Angie, they did a lot of humping back in the day. And that was before I had gotten Angie fixed. Finally got her fixed. And Donald kept getting left out. He'd try and mount her, but she wasn't. Occasionally he'd be able to do it. But they go at it. Angie's just a really strange cat. She's just not super friendly. She's sweet, and it's funny because she'll like sleep next to me, but you have to be careful where you put your hand on her when you're like petting her because she'll just fucking dig it. Fucking, you know, but you can tell she wants to be like cuddle with you, but it's just weird. So that's the story of the cats. Billy here, he's probably 5 or 6 years now. He was born in probably 2020, if not 2019. But his brothers and his sister ended up going to a close family friend of my sister's and her husband, more her husband. And then the her two brothers are with my niece and my nephew. He's a great cat. They're all great cats. Cats are cool. They're the freedom pet. You know, I went to San Diego for 4 days for my company Christmas party, and I left them here. You know, Just put a ton of bowls of food and water out. And when I came back, all of it was pretty much gone. Like, so that's the limit, 4 days. And I don't know if I'd do it again, but I'd do it 3 days. I'd do a 3-dayer, I'd have no problem. But I think 4 days may be pushing it. But now I know. And I would have been devastated. But what the hell do you do? I can't afford to spend hundreds of dollars to like board 5 cats. You know, that'd probably be like $600 or $800 for 4 days. Even if it was 200, that's too much. And I just didn't have anybody here I trusted. The right behind me, those guys, I do have 2 guys that they helped me get the job I have. You know, it's on the project they're on. I work for a different company. And I trusted them, but because we were in San Diego for our Christmas party, they went home to Kentucky. I would have trusted them to come in my RV and look after the cats, but they weren't here, so that kind of sucked. But anyway, everybody survived. And it's weird because I love my cats and I would never want anything to happen to them, but I left them alone for 4 days. I mean, I put a ton of water and food out for them. But, you know, that's just kind of the things that life throws at you. You got to make those decisions. What am I going to do? Raining again. The sun was just out for a second. Got the heat. I got no heat in my RV. I bought it used. And you generally don't need it. This is one like the coldest winter we've had in a while. And it's not bad. Right now, you know, I'm not too cold or anything, but. And it's actually fun snuggling up in your bed at night. I can stay warm enough. But boy, those bathroom trips can be a little brisk. Even though the bathroom is like 2 steps from my bed, it's still. You know? Love the story. Well, thank you. It's a continuing story. Right, buddy? They like your shoes and stuff. I think it's the smell. You know, and they do. Like when you throw your dirty laundry down on the floor, they'll like curl up on your underwear and stuff. Oh, there's That's Life. It was there. See this? See, now this is Moon Dance that I just started playing, and that's, you know, brand new white paper. That's Life, if you can tell the difference. But I wrote this down in probably the 90s, if not the early 90s. That's how old that is. What's on the other side? Witchcraft. I wrote them down at the same time. I've never played this one, and I probably never will. But maybe, now that I just said that. But That's Life is a keeper. Let's run through that one just for get that muscle memory down. That's life. That's what the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that too. When I'm back on top in June. That's life. Funny as it seems, some people get their kicks stepping on dreams, but I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this old world keeps going round. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down, over and out, and I know one thing. Each time I find myself flat on my face, pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. I can't deny it. I thought of quitting once, but my heart just wouldn't bite. If I didn't think it was worth a try, I'd roll myself up in a big ball and die. Great tune. Great tune. I wonder who wrote that, if it was Sammy Kahn, who wrote a lot of Sinatra tunes. Kahn, Sammy Kahn. You'll see that name in the parentheses under the song for a lot of those 50s tunes that Sinatra sang. That's life. Good one. Then it goes back, you swing it around and you go back into, well, actually, they've got That's Life. I normally, after that last verse, go back into I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I love the alliteration. Hitting that P. It's like the Dylan tune, you know, it's all over now, baby blue. All your seasick sailors, they are rowing home. I like alliteration. Then we got this one I've just been playing, which I had finally got down pretty good. I was sitting in a crummy movie with my hands on my chin. All the violence that occurs seems like we never win. Love and mercy, that's what we need tonight. So love and mercy to you and your friends tonight. I was lying in the nude and the news came on TV. There's a lot of people out there hurting and it really scares me. Love and mercy, that's what you need tonight. So love and mercy to you and your friends tonight. I was standing in a bar and watching all the people there. All the loneliness in this world seems like it's just not fair. So love and mercy, that's what we need tonight. So love and mercy to you and your friends tonight. Love and mercy tonight. Brian Wilson. That was a big song for him from his that post Beach Boys that became like the encore. But if you didn't really follow it, you didn't really know anything about it. But as soon as you got in, if you were into Brian Wilson, that became like a big song. And it is a great song. Very Brian Wilson-esque too. But I changed that line, that second verse, it was I was lying in bed and the news came on TV. But when you listen to it, and it always seemed to me like it sounded like he was saying, I was lying in the nude. So that's how I do it. I like little things like that that hopefully make you smile or, you know, are just kind of silly, but you throw them in there. Kind somewhat like, like Hendrix, excuse me while I kiss this guy, which he did sing live occasionally. He'd say that himself. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Yeah, help me. Have mercy. It's amazing. Well, she's walking through the clouds, the circus mind that's running round. Butterflies and zebras and fairy tales, that's all she ever thinks about. Riding with the wind, when I'm sad, she comes to me with a circus mind, gives to me free. It's alright, she says, it's alright. Anything you want from me, anything. Riding with the wind. And then, of course, famously, Derek and the Dominoes, Eric Clapton, they did that on Layla. But they do it in E. When I'm sad, she comes to me with 1,000 smiles. She gives to me free. Yeah, so you just move everything up. So like the Hendrix version's in E minor, and when you do that drop down, it's B minor to B flat minor to A minor. So when you switch the key to I don't know if it's A or F sharp. But anyway, when you do the in Hendrix version, you do that in D, and in the Layla, Derek and the Dominoes, you do that in E. But you do in C sharp minor, dropping down into the B minor. Great album, one of my all-time favorites, without a doubt. Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs. Great album. She looked her, I looked away. I did play that one. I used to play that one. We'll have to look at that one. That first tune on the album. But if you listen to Layla, it's a triple album, I think. Was it triple or double? But anyway, the first side with I Looked Away, and I think Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out, and forget what else. But that's without Dwayne Allman. The other three sides all have Dwayne Allman playing the slide. But I remember, when I first got that album, the song I Am Yours, which I think is on side 4. I think it might be the second to last song, right after Layla. Could be wrong. Could be right before Layla. Because Thorn Tree in the Garden is the last song. But and I'll always remember the first time I bought that on album or CD. I forget if it was a CD, but it said Thorn 3. They misprinted. But anyway, I Am Yours was kind of like when I was like 16 listening to that. I thought that was like a throwaway tune, I am yours, however distant you may be. Now it's the best, my favorite tune on the album. Same with Exile on Main Street. When you're 16 and you listen to that, I just want to see his face is kind of you just don't get that. That's the one where ooh ooh ooh. Everybody talk about Jesus. I just want to see his face. But now it's like the coolest tune on the album. As you get older and you just get into music and you kind of, I don't know. There's some sort of thing that happens there that you figure out the cooler tunes. Starting to get cold, though, in here. Where does that show up? It is getting a bit nipple. The wind has been blowing. We had a little rain. A little front came through. It's supposed to be pretty cold tonight. Might have to break out the heater. I have no heat. Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. Fantabulous night to make romance neath the cover of October skies. And all the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow. And I'm trying to please to the call of your heartstrings that play soft and low. The night's magic seems to whisper and hush. The soft moonlight seems to shine in your face. Huh. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? I wanna make love to you tonight. Can't wait till the morning has come. and I know that the time is just right. And straight into my arms you will run. And when you hum, your heart will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. And every time I touch you, you just tremble inside. I know how much you want me, and I know you can't hide. Can I just make one more dance with you, my love? I just want some more moon dance with you, my love. Just got to do reps with that one. Where's my other? I have another clipboard. Different styled. I kind of like the metal one a little better. It's a little more just sturdy for pretty much obvious reasons. I think this is the Walmart one. And it's got, this is kind of a weak point. Well, I don't know. It's plastic, you know? And then I think the other one there, this one is probably the Staples or whatever, Office Depot. Interesting. See, when you write the lyrics down in the chords or whatever, then you play, and I'll be playing live. It'll kind of expose what I might need to highlight or just kind of maybe draw some lines or identify the chorus better or something. And that's what I feel there. But the chorus isn't the same each time, is it? No. Except the last two lines. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? But the two lines that precede that are a little different. But by throwing that one line in the middle just to denote where that is. But the goal is to get to the point where you don't have to think about it, where you don't need the lyrics, obviously, and you don't have to think about the chords you're playing. It's just you're playing Moon Dance, and it's all just coming naturally. Like when I play, I don't know, a lot of songs that I just know well. It cost a lot to win, and even more to lose. You and me bound to spend some time wondering what to choose. Goes to show you don't ever know. Watch each card you play and play it slow. Wait until that deal come round. Don't you let that deal go down. No. I've been gambling hereabouts for a lot of years. If I told you about all that went down, it would burn off. Both you burn off. Goes to show you don't ever know. Watch each card you play and play it slow. Wait until that deal come round. Till that deal come round. Oh, help me, please, doctor, I'm damaged. There's a pain where there once was a heart. It's a beating of a creep. Can't you please tear it out and preserve it right there in that jar? Oh, she comes in colors everywhere. She comes in half. She's like a rainbow, coming in colors in the eye. Oh, everywhere. She comes in colors. Have you seen her dressed in blue? Seen the sky in front of you? She shoots colors all around like a sunset going down. Have you seen a lady there? She comes in colors everywhere. She combs her hat. She's like a rainbow, coming in colors everywhere. She combs her hat. She comes in colors. All right. See, now I'm torn. I've done like over an hour of just playing tunes, and like this will be a stream, they make an automatic video of it and it can go up there. Not that anybody gives a shit or will watch it. But if I go now and put on a CD of music by some artist, they'll put a copyright claim on it and like nobody will be able to watch. Or I don't know what the deal is. I don't really give a shit. But it just sucks. So what happened was earlier, if you missed it, and I understand there's nobody watching right now, but I had this up here for my cats right there. And the big boy, Billy, jumped up there. He got his claws right here and it ripped out. He like swang around. I don't know if he did a total 180 or 360 and that fell down, but he fell down here. But at least he didn't crush the world. I like having a globe there. I don't think he did. He fell in that area. Yeah, I put this shit back up here all the time. We got Groot. This was something I picked up in a move. I used to be a mover when I was younger in the high school and college years in the off season, and unfortunately for a couple full seasons, because I just wasn't a great student. High school came so easy to me that college kind of kicked my ass. I did eventually get a degree. Oh, is that broken? No. Yes, maybe I. Oh, damn it. What is that? There's something over here, I think. That's a piece of something that came off something. Just a little piece. I wonder what that's from. Is it part of this good boy? Yes, he is broken now. Damn it. Oh, well. That's what happens. It's coming out of the middle, inside of the head of the First Order Star Trooper. Or Snow Trooper. And you got George. Christmas ornament. I think somebody's over there. That's maybe Paul. He's up there on that handle. You can't really see him. And there's John. Yes. And here is... That's Paul. So that must be Ringo over there. There's the two black cats, Angie and her brother Ziggy. What's up, buddy? What's up, sweetie? See, I feed them at 6:30 and it's 6:05, 6:09. So now they start getting a little ready. I think I'm going to have to set up the heater. It's fucking cold in here right now. What do you say, bud? Look at that crest. You guys got to wait 20 minutes, man. Come on. That's Redwood. Bought that when I was out in I've been out there a few times. Camped on, what is it, Roosevelt Beach, I believe. It was cool because the campground was filled, and then there was these two cool guys, California guys, older guys. You know, I was probably almost 15 years ago, roughly. So they were probably like my age now, and I was about 40. But they were like, oh, you can camp with us. And I played songs, and they were like, cool. It was cool. They were cool guys. But then I bought this. And I also have some the coolest thing I bought was like I got these coasters that were just simply big enough to hold a can or a glass, and they're just simply a branch of redwood. But I've had them for 15 years, and they're in great shape because redwood is such a great wood. You know, they're always getting wet, and they're still in one piece. They're just... And they're cool. I love redwood. I have a Telecaster made of redwood, old growth redwood, which was recovered from a house. They didn't just take a tree and make a guitar out of it. It's a Telecaster. Pretty cool. Very cool, actually. See, here's one of the coasters. I use them all the time. See, that thing's like 15 years old and gets used all the time, man. But it's resistant to water and pests. The bark has come off a little bit on the sides, and I got 4 of them. And I also bought a burl. If you know what a burl is, B-U-R-L. You know, they grow on trees, those bumps. But if you take a redwood burl will grow. And you can grow it as a tree or a bush. And I was growing it. I had it in my car, you know. I traveled for work. And I was growing it, and it had a bunch of sprouts coming off it all the time. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just had it in my car, and I kept it but you had to keep it wet all the time. And I went down to Key West, and I went out and spent the weekend on the dry, or just a night on the dry Tortugas. I camped, you know, you had to make a reservation and pay like $175 for the trip out there and to bring a cooler and your camping gear. So I had to leave my car parked there, and you know, I watered it up, but it obviously got like to 100 and whatever in my car because it was nice weather, and I came home and it was dead, and I couldn't bring it back. It's a bummer. That was a bummer. I would have liked to have been able to get that in the ground, which I guess I could have done before that. But it was nice having it in my car with me, having a redwood. If I get out there again, which I definitely will, I may actually move to California, as crazy as that is, because I think it's the coolest state. The people suck. Not all of you, obviously. But like Gavin Newsom, what's up? What's up with the Gavin Newsom thing? What would possess you to vote for that guy? He's doing nothing but enriching himself and his friends. I mean, why do you think you have $20 billion invested in a high-speed railway and nothing's been built? Because it goes to his consultant friends, all that money. Tell us, what do we need to do there? How do we need to cross this river? Is this feasible to this? And it never gets to doesn't even get to the contractors. It's just such a scam, and it's so blatant, and that Karen ass, she's just a fucking worthless piece of shit. You support that shit, man. You're a shady human being, man. Because as bad as those politicians are, for you to vote for it, that means you want what they're fucking lying to people about and just giving people to get their votes. So you're worse than them, really. And I'll stand by that assessment. You're a bad person. You support those and are okay or thinks Gavin Newsom's a good person. I swear to God, he gets to be president. Somebody will do something. That'll be disastrous for the world. Think about how much better off the world is right now than it was when Joe Biden was in there. The whole world was about falling apart. And now Trump's got it. Daddy came back. You know, you may not like the stuff he says and stuff, but you're taking yourself too seriously if you take him that seriously. And B, if you don't understand the world's better, man, I don't know what can be done for you because you're just dumb. You know, you're dumb. If you don't think that the world is in better shape now than it was, you're dumb. And I'll agree. I was happy and voted for him in his first term and when he got the election stolen from him in 2020. But he's better this term. He learned a lot on who he could trust and how to do things. But if you voted for Kamala Harris, you're an asshole. I mean, you're flat out an asshole. I got no problem letting you know that. You're an asshole. Because what that would have done, even if you hate the Republicans or hated Donald Trump, what she would have done to our country, we never would have come back. And the world would be at war right now. And I actually may have enjoyed that if I could just start shooting people. I probably would enjoy that. And don't take that the wrong way. I'm not somebody who's going to go out and do that. But if, you know, we were in an apocalyptic situation where it essentially was a lawless world, I could enjoy that. And that's where we'd be. The world would be a complete shambles right now because they would have tried to crack down and people like myself would have been like, no, Not happening. You're not dictating anything to anybody about anything, you pieces of shit. And they are. What's up with? How could you support people who spend money just to enrich themselves, and when they want more, they just decide to take it from you through taxes and everything else? And if you think, even if you're a poor person and you think you're benefiting from what they're giving you, A, you're an asshole and a worthless piece of shit, but you're also just stupid. Because if you really think they're fucking doing any of it for you, or that it ain't going to come back on you. Makes me mad. Trying to decide where the best place to put this is. But we need heat. I think that is the best place, though, safest. Let's see what the oscillation is here. See, that thing is too hot already. I don't know what. It says 62 on there, but it feels a lot hotter than that. We need, let's see what we got going on here. This is old. Hasn't been used much, but it's old. So that says that's 1762 temp. Oh, all right, 75. There we go. We'll turn that down to 70. It's 63 right now. That's fucking warm. Standing right in front of it, obviously. Let's see where we want that to go. See if we can shoot a little towards the back. We'll just keep that running. I can't obviously with the cats leave it out of my sight. What's up, buddy? It's 6:18. Dinner time is 6:30. Is Angie? Where's Donald? There he is. Careful, buddy. Just trying to decide where we want this heat to go. I guess that's all right. We'll see. We'll let it go for a while. It's been like 2 minutes. What do you say, Ziggy? Look at that handsome boy. You got to be chill when you got cats. You can't get too uptight about shit getting broken and knocked over. Because it's going to happen. A lot. Fucking microphone stand. I play a gig on Sundays at this bar. They just let me play. They don't give me any money. Occasionally people will give me some, drop a couple bucks in the bucket. But twice now I've forgotten my microphone stand and had to improvise with like a cone, a traffic cone, and a stool. And it works, but it's really not ideal. So I hate to do this, but I'm going to, I don't hate to do it, but I got to do it. I'm going to reverse this. going to put some music on. Because what happens now is they'll copyright and black the video of this stream. But it probably can go for about an hour before they shut it off, maybe 45 minutes. Oh, look at that. That thing stopped pretty quickly. What do we got here? I thought this was is this just a headrest? Yeah. There we go. Get that on there. The cats like to rip up my seats, so I like to have a cover on them. Yeah, they're unfortunately destroying everything in here, but as far as, you know, they stretch on their claws, they're doing it on my windows. I'll show you. Ready? Like right there. You know, I got the tape, the two-sided tape where they've already done it, but I got to see if I have some of those left. They're like sheets of the size of a piece of paper. It comes in like a thing like that. Yeah. Stick it on there. It's supposed to discourage them from doing that. But they find if there's a spot you don't have it on, they find it. And it's, you know, I have a scratching thing on like the leg of where my table is, you know, like with the wrap around with Velcro on it, and then for them to stretch themselves on it, but they rarely use that. Probably not even accessible right now because I've kind of given up that battle. So we're going to put some music on. Hopefully I can play it. Did I listen to this one? I'm going to put this on. Joe Ely, we lost him. I think it was in November last year. Never got to see him live. I blew that. I was a fan of his for a long time. I had CDs of his going back to the late 80s or 90s anyways, possibly the late 80s. But I didn't really get the Joe Ely thing, like where I was like, I need what do we have? We have a CD in there, huh? I wonder what it is. No CD. Okay. Whereas now I think Joe Ely is one of the all-time greats. The Flatlanders. Careful, sweetheart. What is up with that? So now they'll slap a copyright claim. A CD I bought, and I just want to listen to some music while now we're going to kind of go through the CDs a little bit here and move them around. Pain and misery. Usually the first song skips a little bit because it's just not that great, basically. Your heart and soul overflow. Soon all your sorrows be gone. Say the earth came from care. I just took these out of my car. James Burton and Ralph Mooney, famous pedal steel guitarist, and James Burton, he played on the original Susie Q, but he was also Elvis's guitarist in the 70s in the TCB band, Taking Care of Business. It's all instrumental. These are the best shit to have in the long run, folks, if you don't understand. If you're still worried about popular music, so to speak. That's the shit you put on when you're driving or just doing shit, you know? And it's great. Louis Armstrong, The Sullivan Years, Ed Sullivan. These are performances from the Ed Sullivan Show. When it's sleepy time down south, that's one of Louis' signature tunes. Hello, Dolly, Lazy River. Bill Bailey, Won't You Come Home? Muskrat Ramble. That one goes back, I believe, to his Hot 7 and Stomping at the Savoy. Basin Street Blues. Blueberry Hill. Sunny Side of the Street. Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. Mac the Knife. God, I don't know if I've ever listened to this yet. And it ends with When It's Sleepy Time Down South Again. God, that's why I was in my car. I don't know if it ever got on. Then I've got the Layla box set. So you got the remastered album. So what I have here, this is actually Layla. I probably had to buy it because I was on the road or something. Or I probably had this before I don't know. You can't have too many copies. Oh, Bell Bottom Blues. That's the second tune, of course. But that the first 4 songs, I Looked Away, Bell Bottom Blues, Keep On Growing, great one. Tedeschi Trucks played that when I just saw him in Clearwater last summer. Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out. Dwayne Allman ain't on those 4, but he's on the rest of the album. Oh, I Am Yours is the first song on that next 5th song. God, it's funny. It's a double album, but it seems like it's too short. But what you have here is a bunch of outtakes on one CD, and then one CD. This one is just jams with Dwayne Allman, and a couple of them actually have Dickie Betts and Greg Allman on them, and they all showed up at the studio. Good stuff, man. Where does that go? Elvis Costello and the Attractions. Snooks Eaglin, famous New Orleans street musician. Elvis Costello, put that there. What is this? Julian Lennon. I saw some interview with him, and that was his most recent album from pretty recently. I don't know. Try to be supportive. You feel bad for the poor boy, although he's never had to worry about. He's been able to chase his musical dreams because he doesn't have to worry about money. Never had to have a real job. I'm not bitter. I remember when I was in working on the road and I went to El Paso. I had to pass through El Paso. I didn't have to. I probably made myself go through El Paso. But I went I just wanted to go into a record store, and I did, in like a strip mall. And I remember just wanted to get, so I got this, I had no idea, but Little Joe and the Latinaires. Look at can you see that? It's like a guy, like they're a bunch of standing against the pole or about to shoot. Prisionero de San Juan Ulua, Chiquita, Besos de Amor, Confession, Little Joe and the Latinaires. Then you got the Mariachi Cobre. They're the band at Epcot. There's a couple of the guys who were original from 1982 still in the band, but not many. 2 or 3. Flaco Jimenez. Achoo! Flaco. Great album right there, man. Professor Longhair, Rock and Roll Gumbo. Clarence Gatemouth Brown's on guitar on this one. This is heavy duty. This is a really super album. If I could do anything for you today, get this album. Get any Professor Longhair, but this one is really good. This was a lot of the stuff available for Professor Longhair is like just recorded by fans. Like he played live in the French Quarter a lot, and he didn't make too many formal albums. And this was like a rare time for Atlantic Records, I believe. You know, Jerry Wexler. They brought him into the studio, gave him a fucking top-notch professional band, Clarence Gatemouth Brown and the like, and made this. This was like a one-time thing, but lucky to have sort of thing. Sweetheart. J.D. Crowe, famous for having the big album he had with Ricky Skaggs and Tony Rice on it. That was a seminal album in the bluegrass. And then this band here, I saw these guys when I went to San Diego, and I actually researched, I was looking around to see what I could do when I got there. And they did an album, Billy Gibbons played on it, their newest album. But I went to the Land Shark Bar and Grill in San Diego, and I was all like, holy shit, man, I should probably make reservations before I even left Florida. And I get there, I'm the only person there for them, the only person who was there for the band. And there was only a couple other people that straggled through and sat down and ate like in the seats in front of them. But I stayed for the whole, they were great. And then I, talked to them during the break. It's a family. It was a mother and father and their kid, Brian Whitkin. He was sang and wrote most of the original songs. They did a lot of covers too. But his dad, who played the keyboards and bass, his mother played ukulele. His dad was in Sha Na Na and played at Woodstock. And also had written had a #1 hit. I don't know for who or what song it was. It's researchable. His dad was named Joe Whitkin, I believe. Or is it Joel? I'm not sure. Let me check that. There is a man and his dog in the alley. Oh, he's not on this at all. Brian Whitkin. Cardboard sign, it leaves in the doorway and reads, I ain't homeless, I am free. Busy people. But highly recommend it. Slacky Ohana. They look like they just don't top notch. With a phone in their ear, they can't. Top notch. They got a really good sound. Of course, you got a couple blues in there, some T-Bone Walker. And hello, I'm Jimmy Reed. Jimmy Reed was a major drunk. Like his wife used to actually, like even in recordings, she would stand right next to him and tell him the words, like right before he had to sing them, Horrible drunk. But wrote some classics, Baby, What You Want Me to Do, Honest I Do, which the Stones recorded, and Mailman. Did he write that one? Mailman, Bring Me... I don't know. That might have been Buddy Holly. But what I have to do here, I brought my whole... That's my Frank Zappa selection. This whole thing here, I just was up in my storage container because I needed to get this heater. But I had already brought in. I don't know. I don't think that's a word. But this is Captain Beefheart in the Zappa that I took out of there like a previous time I've been up there, you know, like to listen to. But I decided to just grab the whole thing of Zappa. So I'll throw the Zappa back in there, and then that'll open this up, and I can, because I got a stack of, you know, I like my music, man. And I guess I'm a completist, but at the same time, it's just because it's all, you get the, you know, somebody like Frank Zappa, you're pretty much going to end up wanting every album because they're worthy. And Zappa is great. You can't just listen to Zappa, though. You know, he is a little snarky, that, and it gets a little oblique. And one thing that is annoying about Zappa is he'll play like a cool guitar line, or like the whole band will go into this great rhythm or groove, and they'll only play it for like 90 seconds or something. He goes into something else. And you're like, dude, why don't you do the whole song like that? So I was happy to get my Richard Betts, his solo albums. Highway Call, Atlanta's Burning Down, Great Southern, and The Collection, #1, Let's Get Together. Those are like twofers. Yeah, 2 of these. So this is 3 CDs, but 5 albums. Dickie Betts was a motherfucker, but he was good. He's really good. In fact, I was, the Allman Brothers would come to Boston area where I grew up and played every summer at Great Woods. And I was there like when, whatever year it was, like 94 or something, they were coming, and they fired him from the band like the night before. So Zakk Wylde from like Ozzy's band or something filled in that night. So they, and you know, Zakk Wylde's I don't listen to the shit he plays like normally, but he knew like at Fillmore East, you know, because any good guitarist would. So they played all those tunes, you know, like Stormy Monday, and obviously they played Whipping Post anyways, and Dreams and shit. But it was good. And then the next year it was Jack Pearson on guitar. Who, if you don't know him, you should check him out. He's like a session musician, but he's like literally, no lie, one of the greatest guitarists, and he's unknown. But he usually plays, you know, like guys will have like these $10,000 guitars. Jack Pearson just plays, he'll play like off the rack guitars, you know? And it doesn't matter because he's so good. One of the greatest slide guitars. I think he was originally in Greg Allman's solo band. And these are all Fish shows that I went to. You can order the CDs. So we got some Dick's Sporting Goods. I was out there for that. That just was coincidental. I was working in Boulder, and I was like, oh. And Chicago, when I was working in Omaha, I took the trip all the way out to Chicago. So I had to drive completely across Iowa. Then you get into, it was a long ride. It was on like 90, I think. The road, 90. Miami, Florida. They played New Year's there, but I went on the 2nd and the 3rd of January. Then this was in Jacksonville, Veterans Memorial Arena. That was pretty cool. That was a good show. Then these are the Alpharetta, Georgia, which is northeast of Atlanta. You know, I went up there for a weekend of Fish shows. Then I also have the, I don't know where they are right now. But my Great Woods, the last time I saw them there in 2022, I think. They reflect the sun that beams the truth as wind sails unfurled. They show me there's no darkness when love is in the air. They give me sorry, sweetheart. Not to keep, but always share. Bonerama plays Zeppelin. It's a trombone-led band. I ran into him, Mark Mullins. He's the main. He sat in with the Radiators a lot. And one night I was walking, and he was walking, just the two of us. He was walking down the street, and I was like, hey, Mark Mullins. And he's like, yeah, how you doing? And you get John Cleary. You should definitely check him out. He just played at the Funky Biscuit in Boca Raton, and I didn't go. Like literally the 25th, like last weekend, I think. But that was I went down there to see the Traveling McCurries a couple months ago, and even though Florida is completely flat, it was a longer ride than I really wanted to do. I was surprised at how far a ride it is. I mean, I'm in Central Florida, and it's still like over 2 hours to get to Boca Raton. Cool place though, the Funky Biscuit. Like you could go in and out, no problem. You know, it's in like one of those kind of walkable malls where it's like square buildings with shops in it, with all walking between, so it's all walkable and stuff. And they just raining again, but they just left the door open. You could go in and out. People were sitting outside smoking weed and shit. It was cool. I like that when it's relaxed. You could go out, you know, they had a set break or between the bands, and you could go out to your car and get high or fucking have a beer and shit. Those are the shows I will continue to go to. I'm kind of done with the big expensive. And most of the bands I would even see that would be big and expensive are pretty much done, you know, the Stones and shit. Even if they're not, I'm not going to pay anymore. Cracker. Bunch of Cracker CDs. The Pixies. So we'll move this back in there. Fucking pissed, man. I made an order from Amazon. What was I getting? Oh, a bike seat, which I need a bike seat. It was like $17, but I got there's a 2-disc version of Randy Newman's Trouble in Paradise. That's the CD, the album with I Love LA on it, I think. But it says they tried to deliver it to me today, and I get tons of packages from Amazon, and so doesn't everybody in this RV park, and it says unable to deliver or attempted delivery. I'm sitting right in my RV. It said 12:10. The door is like 10 feet in front of me. They didn't knock on the door or something. And I come home from work and there's Amazon packages all the time left there. So I hate when they do that. Like out of nowhere, all of a sudden they couldn't deliver something. Okay. Fucking retarded. Here's all my Captain Beefheart stuff. And Johnny Otis. He wrote Willie and the Hand Jive. And his son Shuggy Otis was all the Stones talked to him about replacing Mick Taylor. But again, we've spoke about this before. We can't have an American going into the Stones to replace anybody. It's a British band. Ronnie Wood was the perfect choice. And as great as Mick Taylor was, and Get Your Yayas Out is the best live Stones album, you can't tell me that Love You Live and Still Life aren't great. And that's Ronnie Wood playing all the leads. Not all the leads, but... This is good. Zappa, Playground Psychotics. But this is famously, John and Yoko sat in with them at the Fillmore East in like 1970 or something. And they put that out. John and Yoko put that little jam on I think their Sometime in New York City album, the one where they're naked on the cover, I think. You know, they had some name for it. And Zappa put the same stuff on this album, the same songs, you know. But he made up his own titles for them. And that one of the tunes, if you ever listen to that, is Yoko doing her like I can't even imitate it. She just shrieks like that and shit. But it's great. Here's what the songs are. Yeah, they're right here. Well, Say Please, Awk, AAAWK, Scumbag. And then the last one is A Small Eternity with Yoko. Because it is. You won't listen to that but once unless you're just trying to amuse friends and putting it on. It's rough. I recommend going listening to that once. It's called A Small Eternity with Yoko Ono. He put her whole name. She's in fuck that whole rewriting history with Yoko shit. Fuck Yoko Ono. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. That whole thing rewriting it, and her son Sean Ono, fuck him too. Another piece of shit. Never had to fucking earn anything in his life. You know? Just because John Lennon was great and we all miss him doesn't fucking mean anything about giving Sean Ono just like wanting to sniff his farts. Here's all the Little Feat. They've been remastering all their albums. Of course, I bought probably the third time for some of these. But it's worth it because they got a bunch of live unreleased shit, and that's what you want. Live shit from like 71 and 73 with Lowell George in his prime, you know? Then this is new. You might want to check this out. Warren Zevon's last performance at the Edmonton Folk Festival. The first song they do is Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and the guitar's all out of tune. Like, really bad. I'm assuming Warren's. He had a one guy playing with him. But it's great. He does a version of Hit Somebody on there, which if you don't know about that tune, you should. Because I bought it when it came out. This is Hit Somebody by Warren Zevon. And it's got David Letterman on it. And it's a song about a hockey player. And, and he was an enforcer. And Dave Letterman does Zevon will sing a verse. And then Dave comes in with, hit somebody! Hit somebody! And if you've ever played hockey or football, that's what your dad yells at you. Hit somebody! God damn it, hit somebody. I heard that a lot. And it was tough because when I was learning to skate, I kind of started late. I didn't start into hockey till probably 4th grade or 5th grade or something. And I remember playing a summer league with all these kids. We played with Walpole, Mass, who was they were a powerhouse in everything, hockey and football. And they were different. We didn't play them in high school or anything, but they were next to us, but they played kind of Dedham. That was a little closer to Boston, so they were the bigger schools. But I remember being in this summer league, and I was just learning to skate. And I was playing with all these kids that were good, and they were always like, hit somebody. And I just couldn't skate well enough to hit anybody, you know? I was like trying to still just stand up. And it was like, look, I'll gladly hit somebody, but I can't. By the time I go to make that hit, they're already gone. I caught up later. But it was touch and go for a while. Good times, though. But that was it, man. I showed up every game. But you know how kids can be. You know, so, but it's kind of sucked because I was in the locker room with, 20 kids, and I was the only kid from my town, and all the other kids knew each other. And I just show up, and I'm like the worst kid on the team. Couldn't skate compared to them. Like, I literally knew nobody, and they all knew each other, so it was weird. We're talking like, I don't know, 13, 14-year-olds or something. So that was a little trying. But by the time I got to high school, I was on the varsity as a sophomore for hockey. Didn't start the season there, but quickly became evident that I was good enough. And the key to me, for me, and about me was that when the puck dropped in a real game that mattered against other people that were you're playing against, other towns, I could make shit happen, and I wasn't intimidated. Whereas there's kids who were prettier skaters, so to speak, and stick handle, and they sure looked good in practice, but when the fucking game came and there was some guy from another town trying to take your head off, they were nowhere to be found. They couldn't do their thing because they were scared. But I made shit happen. I could play under pressure, I guess is what I'm saying. When it mattered. Just close your eyes. Wasn't often pretty, Same in football. Wasn't the fastest or any of that, but every time I was on that field, I made shit happen. Scored touchdowns, interceptions. Blocked. Right, sweetie? Oh, it is dinner time. I'm sorry, my kid. They were waiting, man, 6:30 every night, and clearly it's a 54 on there, so we're 24 minutes past. But they start gathering up around 6. Friggin' cold, this heater. Apparently it doesn't run. Apparently, you set it at a temperature, and according to it, it's 70 degrees, but where I'm sitting is not 70 degrees. And it's back on. All right, guys, let's go. Oh, man, I wish I had weed. Why is weed not legal in the United States? Never mind just Florida. Fucking ridiculous. And it is. It's ridiculous. Some people can handle it no problem, man, and I'm one of those people. Don't need to do it all day at work or anything, and as soon as I come home, I want to have a couple fucking hits of weed. What is this? Just want to have a couple hits of weed and listen to tunes, have dinner, play music, listen to music, Nothing. And then go to bed and do it again. All right, kids, you ready? Look out, sweetie. That's a big fork. My God, that fork is big. Would you get your nose out of your brother's ass? What the hell is up with that? I don't even like knowing you do that. Cats. All right, let's see what we got here, kiddos. Guys are eating me out of house and home. Look out, sweetie. Ready, baby? 2 cans a day. 5 cats, 1 can is fine for dinner. You know? That feeds 5 cats nicely. They're not clamoring for more food at the end of dinner time. So 6:30 in the morning and 6:30 at night. There you go, dudes. We're listening to Joe Ely, E-L-Y, Joe Ely. Highly recommended, man. You get some Joe Ely. And if you're not familiar with that style of music or him, you know, the first times you're going to be like, you're just not good. You know, you might be lucky enough to love it right away, but it'll get better every time you listen to it. That's what goes on there. And the Flatlanders. He was also in the Flatlanders with Jimmy Dale Gilmore and Butch Hancock. And unfortunately, he just died late last year. October, November, something like that. Total libtard, but hey. One of his last albums, Springsteen's on it. You know, he was friends with Springsteen. But he was great. Unfortunately, most artists are fucking liberals. Billy. He's got a plate of food in front of him and he goes to just lick the can. You know what I mean? Which is fine. He can do what he wants. Just not sure it's the smartest move. All right, buddy. Oh, RV life, man. It's nice. I don't mind it. Once I get it figured out, once I get some sort of storage, I gotta contemplate buying a nice trailer, which is probably gonna be $5 or $6 grand. But where I can put all my stuff in it so I can actually open this up and have complete freedom. But right now it's like an obstacle course in here. But you just kind of got to make the mental adjustment where you just kind of, you know, like anything you do, you probably got to move stuff to do it. Wind is blowing.